it's a bad play, it can pay off for you, but every single time we've seen them, they just manage to make it work over and over, and sometimes it almost feels like over-aggression, but it always works out for them, and that comes down to gunplay and teamwork. Gotta be amazing communication back over on that roster.
I gotta admit, we were being a little bit biased. They had a really good game in game 1 where they took first, but 2 14-place finishes in round 2 and 3, it's just that recency bias. You know, we like to see them do the thing once, and then it kind of sticks with us, but they've had a couple pretty tough rotations in the past couple of games. So
it's not all about stats. Sometimes it's what your heart says to you. And in this case, my heart says that I like the way that they play. Ziploc bags, looking back over, hitting a nice little tap off to the side of it, as you can see. And have themselves a position. The ring's going to be closing in just another couple of seconds, revealing where we're going to be taking our ways off. If any of the earlier rounds have been any indicator, I feel there's a hard shift in our future.
Sounds about right, but Ziploc does have a pretty good hard cover here and set up a little bit more, so they shouldn't have to deal with it too poorly, as it's going to look like it's going to shift to the top away from Sentinels, who have had to trek quite a bit of a way, as they do spot out somebody on the outside here. This actually might be Rogue. Shots coming down here, as they do end up finding him. I talked about that team that's going to be rotating in from the southeast, and Sentinels comes on back, so Sweet needs to be careful. No armor and half health. A couple shots, and then you get dropped. As for dropped, it's even rougher being in the backside, and that Kraber is an option, just kind of following the tracing of the Wraith and just waiting for him to come out the other side, and shot comes down, but return fire on Sen. He ends up leveling up that Evo. I think it actually startled him a little bit.
Sometimes it kind of catches you off guard there, but Sentinels now making great use of their vision, raining down a lot of harassment on all the teams trying to rotate up and ahead of them. They just have to be careful not to get caught up in too long of a fight, and that's what you can see. Take a couple of shots, move forward. Take another couple of shots, move forward. If you can pick up some kills here, great, but you don't want to end up stuck on the outside of this, having to fight your way back in with all of these stalls that can happen in a prolonged fight. Shot does go out. It goes a little bit awry, but by God, it's still just Sentinels trying to push up and forward, trying to find some type of opening to work with.
Yeah, the other scary thing about that, too, is everybody now knows that there's a Kraber in play, so all you got to do is land one of those shots. And everybody else, as soon as they hear that noise as well, is a little bit more passive about peeking these windows. So, again, trying to bob and weave back and forth in front of that window. Needs to be careful. Taking the hard cover, as TLP going to move in on this one as well. 3 teams all in the same position, and another team engaged and involved here. End up popping it, and they don't have anything to do with this, so immediately Wraith drops Pearl Max, but good damage being put on. Sentinels, who look like they're in a pretty strong situation, have now moved in a little bit too far, and TLP, both Sentinels find themselves in a really rough situation. As a drop over the corner, Anders can clutch it up, he gets massive to the face of Crust, but then the return fire from Sen. Need to be careful. So many teams in this area, they just need to back out. He's going to place this rift down, and hopefully his teammates that are down will come with.
It is a party that now very quickly nobody wants to be a part of. Chase does come back behind that one. Good plays coming out. NRG making a quick shift back over along the same path. They heard a lot of fighting back over here. Going to come up right after it all happens, but does spot out one immediately upon landing. Going for the spray back over towards it. NRG looking like they're wanting to play this one aggressive, trying to catch people running out and forcing them away from the safe zone. That's going to give them a path back into this. So now they can make the approach however they want, as all the teams along the path have been cleared out by other people.
Really well done by Energy. They hear that sustained fight for quite a while and immediately go for the redeploy and move on up. But need to be careful as Rocker possibly going to get hit by some of these nades. Needs to use that rift portal to get out. It's taking damage, sustained, and they run into yet another team. So a ton of action happening on the west side of the circle. As people left and right getting dropped. Rogue, TSM, everybody in this area. Top 3 is a huge crypto EMP comes down and ends up probably helping TSM on the side. As he takes another shot, the Mastiff ends up hitting it. Savrelli, he's going to need to use the shield battery as he holds off the breather.
Find themselves a little bit of a corner to get their feet back underneath of them. ISMP starting to make approach, getting separation out away from TSM, who's playing that position back behind them. You have Protectful that is down. They're just going to have to leave him be, as there's no way to make the approach back behind this. See, up on there, I always like to see whenever TSM is playing how many people are watching them in a moment. See if 4 people are just going to spectate after they've been killed off of it, kind of figure out what's going on. But TSM now has to make a little bit of a shift back over towards the east, as they know one team with a little bit of remnants are in front of them, so how to play this one a little bit more careful, going an eye back around to maybe making a southern wrap.
Listen, let's move here.
A lot of people in that middle circle, and the pattern shows it's going to end up kind of towards that choke point. So A lot of these teams, if they have that information, might be able to make a better decision. As you see, Liquid spread it up pretty well. One on the back side, just trying to look for information, while two kind of at that front point of the nose. But we do have some people holding angles, just trying to check and hold out. So thanks for the,
just
teamwork.
Sometimes it's about just showing the fact to your teammate that you care. Just coming over there, giving a little bit of love, giving a little bit of motivation to make their way through the rest of it. As you can see, a lot of rats now starting to hide out different parts of this circle. 35 seconds before it starts to collapse down, you can see off in the distance people running around trying to gather a little bit more information. As back over towards the north, it's going to be where Free Smoke is going to have to make their move. And they know at this point, 12 squads up and alive, 32 people moving around. Going to be a little bit difficult, as we can see that a lot of these teams are playing on the southern part of the circle. No surprise, whenever you look at the circles and how they shift, if you see everybody playing back over towards center and there's a hard shift back over towards the north, you have to think in your head, okay, most teams are going to move as close as they can to the next safe zone. That means that section is going to be the most clustered.
Gotta be careful. Luckily for TSM, they do have high ground here, and something that's actually not something we've talked about, the fact that Reps is rocking Crypto. So maybe they have committed to playing this more aggressive playstyle again. They're feeling comfortable with it, and it's been working out, but haven't really see that coordination really come through yet, as we see Abralelli up on the top of the Gibby. And that's part of the reason why he may be playing Gibby, is if Hal and Reps are going to play super aggressive, then he has to be the defensive one instead of the mobile one like he has been with Pathfinder. So interesting to see the development here. And hopefully we'll see it play out and show the true power of what can happen, as Free Smoke sitting in here with all the caustic smoke. You see Rambo living up to his name. Tons of damage being put down. Removes another. And unfortunately for Vuzby, he's going to get eliminated as well. Another side. Yeet Squad trying to find another team. So many players in this area on the back side as they enter into the building. Trying to get a couple bits of damage. EVA 8 coming out from 6. Teams left and right. Shots raining down from the EVA 8. The Wingman doesn't even need it, as Wings is going to be there to pick it up.
The 8 squad comes out on top of that one, and not too far to make it back over towards the next circle. We've got tons of loot to work with, as this has been a party house to say the least. A ton of teams lined up. 8 squad got to be careful as they do the peek back over. Bowser takes a phase full of damage. Gonna have to jump back and away from this one. Yeet Squad now knows that they have somebody that is up on the hillside in front of them. Might opt into playing back over towards the west and trying to circle around. It's going to be ISMP that's playing up above them, seeing if maybe they can get a knock out of this one. Don't quite have an angle to work with, but every single time a peak comes back around, they're trying to inflict as much damage as they can.
Need to be careful as well with this much noise coming out. It's a ton of information that's been given to the other squad, so SMP kind of in a tough spot as well. Luckily for them, I don't think anybody's going to be able to rotate around that backside, but you never know with some of these Wraith players, so need to be careful just trying to check their angles, and I like the fact that they're both peeking from the same spot so they can go for those trades. Something that they may want to do as well is if they can push up to the other side and get a different approach, but it does make them susceptible to the other angle up top, so got to be careful here with how they play this, especially with the zone going to be starting here in 5 seconds.
Got to be cautious on this one. You can lead to a mutually assured destruction between both of these teams. Both of them trying to commit off of this fight can really stall them out and let the ring come in and do a massive amount of work. Each squad looks like they've got themselves a position trying to run up and get a little bit ahead of how we see ISMP going for their play. Look at the defensive line that they've already set up to clear themselves a perfect path coming into it. Aim assist then finds themselves right in the thick of it, right on the edge of the circle right now. It's going to be a dance back and forth, as we can see Ziploc Bags looking back over, trying to take a couple of shots, and it is just raining members of opposing teams just jumping down inside their shield, but they don't care. They managed to walk away with that one. ISMP coming out on top.
Looked like ISMP was going to be in a really rough situation with the other team having the high ground, but just better shots able to land as Yeet Squad fighting off here. Liquid on the other side actually knocking down a ton of players too. Just see Iceman doing whatever he can with that Mastiff and is going to use that movement, but he goes right into another team and gets removed.
There is nowhere to go. ISMP trying to inflict as much damage as they can. They go down. Only one left up and active. Ziploc Bags coming out as the kings of this part of the circle. They just have people jumping up on top of them, delivering their loot. Crates right up next to him, continuing to make that harassment. Yo-Yo's jumping over, back behind it, tries to go for the shot. Not going to connect, but it's going to be on the other side of his MVP, trying to follow it up, making their push back over towards the safe zone. They've got a lot of control and a lot of vision to work with. I love playing these rocks, getting the high ground, spraying back down into everything that's going on. There's nothing these teams can do, just trying to get the Wraith and get the reposition back out, but the hunt is on. There's nowhere for these teams to go, as it is so closely contained, and that rock just has crate upon crate next to it.
Good patience from this last team. MVP on the back end as well as SMP. SMP was the team that made it through that lower push and are doing relatively well here. So using that high ground, trying to wait for their moment. They end up picking another kill out of a straggling player. Gonna have time to heal. It is a 1 versus 1. It's Madness. On the side, he ends up landing a grenade hit, ends up getting it returned. Follows the trace, ends up dropping a portal. Shots coming down, ton of damage, and he's actually gonna clutch it. SMP with the victory, and he shows his worth as he gets on top of that box and asserts dominance.
All comes off of that setup. They saw so many people that were taking shots at them. Remember, they were held down in a location not inside the safe zone, but then they managed to stretch out, managed to use the Pathfinder ultimate to line up a path to get out of there, and you just saw it was Watson traps all over the place. It was just fences galore, and they opened up a path to walk right inside the zone, and they just walked into everybody fighting in front of them and got to capitalize off of it.
Really well played at the back end. We talk about these teams having the know-how to be a little bit more passive and patient.